Stacking wins, I'm never done. On the field, I'm number one. Pressure heavy, weigh a ton. Yeah.
Welcome to the Man United stream. I hope you're doing well. It's Wednesday morning and we've got a live show for you once again. Yes, we're doing more often of these live shows, live streams. So if you're around midday, always make sure to check whether we are live. And you can do that quite easily by hitting the subscribe button and turning on your notifications, and you get told every time we go live. So that's great news. Anyway, we've got some breaking news concerning Joao Gomez, Man United, and their midfield problems. They look like they might have a solution, and their solution is Joao Gomez of Wolves. That's what we're hearing. Reports have now started emerging that United have locked down an agreement with Joao Gomez and Wolves. Will this be our big January transfer window signing? I'm hoping we can get somebody. I'm hoping we can get at least two midfielders. Could this be one of those midfielders? I think it's pretty good that we get this deal done early as possible, well before the January transfer window, so we don't have to scupper around and panic and buy whoever we see, right? We don't want to be doing that. We don't want to be a club that's just simply buying anybody that moves. We don't want to be desperate. We want to have our number one, number two, or three, or four, five, whatever it is, our shortlist, and we want to pick players from that shortlist. We don't want to be going panic buying or taking players on loan who don't actually fit the requirement, the criteria that United have set for a midfielder. We don't want another Ugarte, let's be honest. No one wants to see another Ugarte who turns up to the club and does nothing, barely features, and even Ruben Amorim tells him he's no longer the player he used to be at Sporting. So why the hell did we sign him? That's what I'm saying. Why did we sign him if he wasn't good enough? But that's Man United. We always end up signing players who are simply not good enough. Joao Gomez, reports are that he's locked down an agreement. Agreement's been done and dusted. But the report is that Man United have actually agreed a valuation with Wolves. If that is the case, that is massive news. He is hands down going to be our number one signing for January when it comes to midfielders. Morning, Rick. Hope you're doing well. Thank you for joining us all the way across the Atlantic. We're an international show, aren't we? We're an international show with community from all over the place. And Rick, hope you're enjoying yourself. Morning, 5 a.m. here in Calgary. I can't sleep. Second day in a row. So no more Glazers buys then. Lol. So yeah, look. For me, I look at it and think we've got to do something. We've got to do something in terms of improving that midfield, Rick. We've got to. I mean, we can't sit on our laurels and say, well, look, do you know what? You know, whatever happens, happens. We are hearing some noises coming out of Man United saying that INEOS are happy not to do any business in the January transfer window. And if that is the case, I mean, then they are like the Glazers. Then we've got the Glazers. Then we've got the Glazers in another with an English accent. That's why I say the Glazers with an English accent. INEOS are no different. If they're not going to go and make any headway in the January transfer window, I think that's an utter load of bollocks when it comes to, oh no, January, no one really goes out and buys anyone in January. We saw Man City last season. What did they do last January? They went and added some pure class to their starting 11 in January transfer window. So why Man United can't do that? I have no idea. But anyway, we'll discuss obviously in detail with the Joao Gomez. Let me just hit the chat first. Welcome, obviously, Rick and Neville. Hope you're doing well. Hope it's not too cold out in Canada. It's the weather's turned a bit, but then it's kind of come back and forth in the UK. It's got a bit cold, then it got a bit warmer, then it got a bit colder. Now, thankfully, it's got a little bit warmer. So yeah, let's see. Neville says it's crucial that we are the boldest we've been in the January window for the longest time. Would make all the difference. Yes, it would. It would make all the difference if we can go out in the January window and do some serious business. And it would make a difference because our team is lacking. We all know, as fans, when we're watching United play, you'd love a few more options off the bench that can come and change the game. We haven't got them, unfortunately. Unfortunately, we haven't got anybody out on the bench who can come in, and Ruben Amorim knows this. Ruben Amorim's been telling us, he's been saying, look, I haven't got the players. I haven't got the players. I need the players to do what I want to do. So who's to blame? Who's to blame? We can't all just pile it in on Ruben Amorim and say he's to blame. He hasn't really been given the tools to do the job. He's been given a few tools like Mbeumo, like Kuna, and they've come good. You've got to put your hands up and say, actually, they've made a huge difference to this United team. Those are Ruben Amorim signings. That he wants them. He wanted them, and he got them. But he also wanted a midfielder. He didn't get that. And that's what he's pointed to. He's saying that the midfielder was the most important thing in my current squad, and I didn't get that. And now I'm struggling, and you're asking me to do something that I told you was going to happen. And that's why after every post-match, in every post-match press conference, you see him, and the poor fella doesn't even want to celebrate a win for his team. He doesn't want to get carried away. He's kind of nervous. You can see he's nervous. He's talking to the press, and he's saying, it was a good win, but let's wait on to the next game. Let's see. Let's not, count our eggs. We don't want to kind of over-celebrate. And that's because he is not convinced with this United team. And until he's not fully confident, we've got no right to be either as fans. We need to accept that this team needs improving. Rick says we have snow and -4 Celsius. Oh, that is... No wonder you can't sleep. No wonder. Our squad is southern in midfield. I don't know what that is. I don't know what. I think that's a misspelling of some southern midfield. We should have reinforced midfield this year. And then Rick goes on to say we have lucky Casemiro has caught World Cup fever and playing well. Yeah, I said that yesterday, Rick, in our show yesterday, live show yesterday. I was saying, look, Casemiro. The only reason why he's playing well is because he knows he's got the World Cup round the corner, and he wants to be at the best, at his peak. He doesn't want anybody in the Brazilian press saying he should not be playing for Brazil, he's too old, or he shouldn't be the captain. So he is working hard, but not necessarily for Man United. Unfortunately, that's not the case. Unfortunately, we have players, in the United squad who are international players who are, looking ahead to the World Cup, and they want to be part of the World Cup selection for the international teams. And that's how it works, unfortunately. We're going to get this year out of them, and next year they might be back down to 0. So that's why we need to be careful. We cannot offer Casemiro a new contract just based on his current performances. That's a no-no for me. I feel like that would be a very silly thing to do for me. I think that would be an awful thing to do. Neville says, Travis, did you see what happened after the Nice loss to Laura on Sunday with the 400 ultras breaking into the team bus and genuinely assaulting some players and staff? Gross, but also INEOS team. Look, I've said this many times before. Whenever someone's asked me about the INEOS takeover of United, the minority stake in Man United, and I said, look, you've just got to look at the CV. What have they done at Nice for all the years that they've been the owners of Nice? What have they actually done? Nothing. They've done nothing for him. They've done nothing, and the fans have kicked off. The local media have kicked off with INEOS, saying, look, they're not good enough. They get rid of managers left, right, and centre, and INEOS haven't. It's like someone coming up for a job that you're going to employ them, and they're giving you a CV, and their CV's terrible. Their CV's awful. They've got sacked from everything. They've done a terrible job in past jobs, exactly the same roles that they want to be applying for. Would you take that person on? Of course you wouldn't. Of course you wouldn't. You'd say, sorry, but your past record is not good enough. Your current record is not good enough in these roles. So why would you take them on? So why would, of course, we didn't have a choice in the matter. INEOS came in and they were going to take over whether we liked it or not. Unfortunately, that's how it works. These billionaires don't give a crap about fans. We've seen the Glazers. They don't really care. All they care about is the money. And this is why, coming back to the January transfer window, INEOS are saying, oh, well, you know what? We don't really need to go out and invest in the January transfer window. Do you know why they're saying that? There's two things. One is because they don't want to spend money. And the other thing is that they know that any player that they get in the January transfer window is going to be slightly more expensive than what you would pick them up for in the summer transfer window, because you have more options in the summer transfer window and you've got more time to negotiate. INEOS do not want to go and put their money where their mouth is. And I'd love to see someone like Anderson or like someone like Wharton come on the market in the January transfer window, and he says, right, okay, I want to leave. I want to leave. Come and buy me, because I want to see whether United will put the money down for these type of players, or will they just walk away and confirm what we all already believe, which is INEOS are not looking to actually put any money down, any serious money down into the club and buy players that we really need. We're desperate for them. Anyway, let me just quickly go to the story that broke yesterday about Joao Neves, because it's important, and I think this has got some weight to it. We've got to discuss it. We've got to discuss it. It's all about transfers, isn't it? It's coming into that transfer window. So this was broken by Indicator News, and he's been on point. It's a news agency. They've been on point with a lot of stuff, and so this is what they've said. Secret agent meeting player has requested to leave. Adam Wharton targeted. We've got some exciting news coming out of Manchester United. Reliable sources confirm that club officials have met with Carlos Leite, or Letit, I don't know how you pronounce it. Letit, yeah, Letit. The agent of Joao Gomez and Adam Wharton's agent. So both of them have got the same agent. Interesting. It seems Joao Gomez has made it clear to Wolves that he wants to make the move to Old Trafford. Massive sentence. Very important. Remember that sentence, because that is what makes moves happen now. Man United, they did the same with Mbeumo. They did the same with Kuna. They did the same with Sesko. They waited until the player made it known publicly that he wants to move to Man United. And this is exactly what's happened now. I think this is going to now, whether Man United have, would have moved on him or not, I think United will definitely make a move if he's come out and said this. Manchester United is currently in talks with Wolverhampton Wanderers with a transfer fee around 41 million on the table. Now, 41 million, I'd say is a pretty good bargain, I think. I think for a player who's playing in the Premier League, doing well, his stats are pretty good. That is pretty good. This could be a significant addition to the squad, as Gomez has shown great potential to become an elite player. Now, is he in the same category as Wharton? Is he the same category as the others like Baleba or like Anderson? No, he's not. But is he good enough to go and sign and bring it in the January transfer window? Is he a good option? Absolutely. He's fantastic to bring in, because we can't really go around shopping and window shopping and spend our time looking at players and thinking, maybe that one suits us better, or maybe that one. Yeah, we've got an option. We've got a few options here we can choose from. We haven't. We've only got the one or two options that we can actually sign in the January transfer window. And we've got to be realistic as Man United fans as well. Yes, we want to sign the big boys. Yes, we want to see them. But will they actually come? Will United be able to afford them, and will they come? I very much doubt that any of these big boys will leave in the January transfer window. So yeah, let's wait and see what happens. Let me see what everyone's saying here. Neville says Gomez is of course gonna say he wants United. A move to us would save him from Championship football. I'm massively put off by Gomez's wage. His stats are decent, but his wage are crazy. Yes, that is the stumbling block. The stumbling block we've got is Joao Gomez is on reportedly he's on plus 80,000 a week. Yes, he plays for Wolverhampton, but he's on 80,000 plus. That's a lot of money. That is a lot of money that we would have to obviously increase on. So we're not going to give him the like for like, are we? He's going to join Man United knowing full well that we're going to have to put him on maybe 120, 150. Is he worth that much when we could go and realistically sign someone like Baleba or someone else and give them more or less the same salary? So them are the questions that you've got to look at and think. I'm not convinced. Not convinced if that's gonna cut the mustard with INEOS either. That's what it is. Rick says if Gomez was good, why is their midfield so weak? Yeah, good point. Good point. I mean, the question is whether if Gomez was that good, would Wolverhampton be in the current position they are? Some people argue that it's because the team's not performing and he's the one shining light in the team. I'd say it's a bit of both. I'd say, look, you as a top player, you've still got to carry your team. You've still got to make them, a better team. You can't just turn around and blame everything on the team, a team being rubbish and you being a good player. It's not really going to work. But if he is good, good enough to play, I mean, right now, Man United need someone. We need someone, whether it's Gallagher, whether it's Gomez, whether it's somebody else. I think these two. I think Gallagher and Gomez keep on being linked to United. There's lots of noises coming out that these two are the most likely options that United are going to bring in the January window, and if all else fails. But we already know, apart from Baleba, I think Baleba could move. Baleba could happen, but Brighton are just awful to work with, because they're the type of club that just don't come to the table. They don't negotiate fairly. They just come in and all they care about is making sure that they walk away with the largest amount. To be fair, he's better than our alternatives, but still, he will age too fast. I think the problem with me is, like, he doesn't excite me. He's what you call a utility player signing. Yes, he'll do the job. Yes, he'll come in and improve our midfield. But will he excite us? I very much doubt it. Will he be a player that you look at and think, wow, we've signed this guy? No. So for me, that's the issue. I look at him and I think, is he good enough? Is he a Man United player? Is he a Man United midfielder? And I just feel like it's another stopgap. And I'm being honest here. I feel like it's just a stopgap. It's just one of those signings that we're going to make, and we're going to be like, oh yeah, it's gonna do, and then we're gonna cry about it about 2 years down the line when we're gonna say, oh look, he's on 150k a week, and oh, how do we get rid of him now? He's sat on the bench doing jack shit. How many times have we had that in the past? Travis, I've heard 100k a week plus add-ons, so he's already making between 100. That's just ridiculous amount. That is ridiculous. 110k a week. Huge number for me. Baleba is 20k. Gallagher is 80k. We would bring Gallagher down with clauses. Yeah, I look, for me, I would say that if he's costing us that much in salary, we rather just. That's why his valuation transfer fee is 41 mil maybe, because they know that they're going to have to pay him through their noses. Do you want to actually do that though? I mean, that's the big question. Do you want to actually pay that much money for someone like Joao Gomez when long term? Of course, short term solution. He comes in 41 mil. It's fine. But I was saying in yesterday's live show, and I was telling you guys, I was saying, look, for me, I look at it and think, if you're going to spend 40 mil, if you're going to spend about 50 mil on a player, you might as well go and put further money down and buy the player that you actually want. Quality over quantity, right? How many times have you gone out there and bought something that you don't really want to buy, but it's cheaper than the actual something else you want to buy? So the quality item's worth a lot more, or maybe a little bit more, and then you kind of look at the cheaper option. You think, should I buy the cheaper one? Should I buy the expensive one? I'll go with the cheaper one. And then literally 2 months later, you're thinking, why the hell didn't I just go and buy the expensive one? It would have lasted me longer. It was more reliable. It was this, it was that. The cheaper one breaks down, doesn't do the job right, isn't good. And that's exactly like players. We're buying players and we're looking at them thinking, oh, he'll be cheaper. Yes, he will be cheaper. But will he be the signing that actually goes on to become a successful Man United player? And that's what I come back to Rick, where he says, look, is he gonna age well at United? And unfortunately, I look at him and think probably not. For me, it's clear. The quality players in this league right now that would make a huge difference and will become Man United legends if they carry on this trajectory are Wharton and Anderson. I might be biased. I might be looking at it completely wrong. Tell me if I'm wrong, but that's how I'm looking at it. I'm looking at these two players and thinking they're just going that way. Shoot, they're shooting up. They're shooting up, and everyone knows this. Everybody across Europe is looking at these players. So let's be realistic. We know what the quality items are. Whether we then want to save money and buy Gomez or Gallagher or someone else is something down that we have to discuss, and we have to be realistic. This is what INEOS are like. INEOS are cheapskates. INEOS are cheapskates. That's the problem. Dave, welcome to the show. Hope you're doing well. The real question on Baleba is, will he really be back to form? Big question. Big question. I'm not quite sure if he joins us. Since form isn't a light switch that's off and on or just turn it on, we really need a stable midfield, and that's not overrun. Look, the Baleba form really concerns me. Really concerns me. I know a few of us yesterday were discussing this in our show yesterday, and we were talking about how Baleba might have switched it off himself. But then that opens up another can of worms. Another can of worms as to, wait up, why would you buy a player who is throwing a hissy fit, who has been unprofessional enough to stop playing football? I mean, that's the last thing you do. The last thing you do is stop working hard. You know, it's unforgivable. And I think Jim said it in yesterday's show. He said, what if he does it again? I can't remember who said it. He said, what if he does it again? What if he comes to United and Real Madrid come knocking? And what if he downs his tool for United? What would you do then? That's why, for me, if he has, both situations are problematic. If he's currently not playing well and that's his genuine form, big issues. If he's down tools and he's deliberately playing that way, that's a big issue as well. Red alarm bells ringing all over the place for me. So yeah, I mean, that is it. We can all agree, Rick says, we can all agree that we need to raise the flow of the talent level by replacing our old guys with young, and then give them time to gel. Yeah, look, it's obvious. Casemiro is going to go. Bruno is at the end. I mean, I feel like if United get an offer in the summer for Bruno Fernandes from a Saudi club in the region of say 80 plus million, he's gone. He's gone. No way is he staying. No way is he staying. And Neville says, so true. We have to be realistic. January business isn't something United do. So spitballing potential achievable moves they might do in the summer. Anderson or Wharton will be tough, but worth every penny. Yeah, I mean, it'd be a dream signing. Dream signings there would be, and they would make the biggest difference. They'd make the biggest difference for us. But we've got to approach the January transfer window aggressively. That's all I'm saying. I'm saying let's not take things for granted. And I'm not happy with what I'm hearing from INEOS, saying, oh, well, you know, January window, we'll think about it. We don't really need to go in and make some dramatic signings. We can wait till the summer. And I just think that is classic INEOS. Classic INEOS, where they are just, they don't want to spend any money. They don't want to spend any money. This is the problem. Rick, I like what Rick says. I like what they have done so far. I just wish they had added to midfield too, but goal tender was too important to replace. Look, for me, they've done well. I think they missed a massive opportunity to go out there and sign a midfielder in the summer, and we are suffering as a result of it. I'm looking at the games that we've played and the games we've kind of lost or drawn. I'm thinking if we had a decent midfielder in there, we would have won them games and we would have been lying second in the Premier League. So you work out yourself, that extra 50, 100 mil that you spend, lying second in the Premier League, maybe even close to Arsenal. I mean, come on. It makes no sense not to buy a midfielder. Neville says, we've got to remember Amorim wanted a left wing back and a new midfielder, which is why we were left looking at Baleba and Gallagher to begin with. They just did dreadful business and let Amorim down. They did. Amorim was let down, guys. It was clear. Amorim was let down. We were told, he was told one thing and they went and did another. That's why I feel like, you know, Amorim was left to dry, and Amorim has hinted at this. Rick says, the sales let us down this summer. We spent decent money. We just wasted too much time. Yeah, we wasted a bit too much time. We didn't really have a real plan on who we're going to be getting, and we didn't tap up the likes of Baleba or Anderson or Wharton early enough. We should have been on it. Like a car bonnet. We should have flipping been on it. And now we're regretting that. We're regretting it now massively. Now we're looking at it thinking, shit, you know, we are struggling. We have had a disastrous few games where we could have actually won rather than draw. Neville says, oh God, it's so upsetting. I think that we could, or that we could have experienced a left wing back midfielder. Then you're right, Travis, mate. I think we would have sat second. Look, lackluster backing from the board. Yeah, seriously, I've gone over the games and I've looked at them and I thought, right, how close were we to winning? And we were both in the lead with Nottingham Forest, and we were in the lead against Spurs. Forget anything beyond that. Let's just look at these two games in particular, and where you can argue that United have improved and their play styles improved. We were in the lead. We didn't shut up shop. That's why we ended up losing. But if we shut up shop, we would have been a lot further than we are now. That's my issue. But yeah, I mean, look, let's be positive. Let's think about the future. Let's think about the January transfer window. Let's hope that United can get in players. I just don't want a transfer window where we're just sat on our hands doing nothing and we're panicking at the last minute and then we end up bringing in someone as loan or something. Rick says there are more positive signs now than before. So all in all, we are going in the right direction. I think the team's playing better. I watched the interview from Ahmad and Mbumo yesterday, and it was interesting, that interview where he literally was saying, look, we were crap. Ahmad conceded it. He said, look, we were defeated even before we came out onto the pitch last season. There were some games he was like, we already knew we'd lost even before we went out on the pitch. That is crazy for a professional footballer to admit. To say that, yeah, we were beat even before we went out on the pitch. That's crazy. I mean, I had to rewind it and watch it again and listen to what he said. Maybe I was mistaken, but he said exactly that. So that just tells you how the shift has happened from what already being defeated, but to now actually believing that they can go out and win games. So I'm really happy with the transformation in the players, but I feel like it's still not fully there. They're still really weak. I'd say they're about 40-50% there to where they need to be. And when they get to that stage, we will know, because there'll be a marked difference in the way they play. That's what it is. Neville says, I'm convinced that INEOS told him that he was going to be given far more back. Yeah, of course they did. Yeah, in the summer than we got. No way he saw that the squad would have took the job knowing he'd get only 4 players and 2 kids. Yeah, 100%. I think he's alluded to it. He alluded to it as soon as the season started, and we kind of messed up on a few games. And he said in one of the post-match press conferences, he said, "Look, you don't know what I know. You don't know what I know. You don't know what we've gone through." So I believe he was talking about the board there. 100% says Neville to Rick. The general atmosphere seems to be getting far better from last season. When his team can unlock the winning mentality, we will be flying. Yeah, absolutely, man. There was bad attitudes in the room, says Rick. Yeah, look, we know who they were. I mean, Rashford didn't help. And yes, he was young, but he was still a senior member of that squad. And if people are looking around and seeing Rashford sulking in the dressing room, on the pitch, and he's getting picked every week, I don't think many players like that. So other players will be like, screw you, I'm not going to try either then. Because if that dude is not turning up for training on time, he's not giving it his all, is out on a piss-up the night before, and you're playing him on the weekend. So why the hell should I not be playing? So why the hell should I be giving all my commitment to this club when clearly there's no standard set? So I think it was important from the standards point of view. And now Marcus Rashford's gone out and he's playing for Barcelona. He understands, look, this is, you can't have a day off. That's the difference. And there's talk about him actually coming back, guys. But I'll do another show maybe later on that. But that's what is being discussed. But we'll see. We'll see. Neville says, someone posed this question the other day to me, and I think it's quite interesting. Wonder what you guys think. Ahmad was the right-sided 10 and Mbeumo as a right wing-back. I think that would have been worth a try. I don't know, Neville. I would look at Mbeumo and think, oh, the goals he scored for us so far. I mean, I want him right next to I want him goalie hanging, and get all our goals. I think Mbeumo, when it comes to composure, he's he's a lot better than anyone else we've got there. When it comes to composure in front of goal, when his shot is hit with vigor, he knows exactly what he's going to do. He doesn't flinch. He doesn't kind of get caught in two minds about what to do with the ball. He gets a chance and he smashes it. And that's what we need. And that is a sign of a player playing without any pressure and playing with a lot of confidence. And that's what we need in the entire squad. And once we get that, we will be really, really hard to beat. Let's go to Rick. And Rick says, Garnacho was a problem here. Bad attitude due to the bad coaching from Ten Hag who built... Oh, yeah, Garnacho was another one, wasn't he? He was his sidekick, isn't it? There was a group of them. In that dressing room who were just always throwing the dummy out, always kicking off. And they didn't... It didn't bode well for United. Neville says, if Barca falls through for Rashi, that's probably good for us. Barca want to give him 30 mil, give us 30 mil for him. He's top assist maker in the La Liga. I reckon he's good if they don't take him. Do you know what? I'm 50-50 as well. I don't want Barcelona to do us over. Barcelona are a right piece of work. They're a right dodgy club when it comes to paying for players, and they like doing all these dodgy businesses where they just don't want to pay you, and they want to kind of try their best to not pay for any player. And I just feel like, well, that's just rude. You've got a bloody top player on your hands. Yes, he was unhappy at United, and yes, I don't know what he didn't have he didn't have the drive to do well at United for whatever reason, whether he's just got bored of being at United, he's a childhood club, thought maybe the grass is greener on the other side, wanted to go elsewhere, wanted to live the high life. And of course, look, let's be honest, Manchester's not the most glamorous place in the world. It's, the weather's not always perfect, but it's still a top city to be in. But he probably got bored of it and probably thought, right, do you know what? And of course, the press and everything. So he probably thought, right, I want out. And he got out. He got out and, well, that's fine. But if Barca don't want him, I'm sure there's lots of other clubs in Europe who'll probably be looking at him thinking, oh, we'll fancy a bit of him. We'll have him, and they'll give us a lot more than 30 mil. 30 mil is just a flipping joke. I mean, you might as well not bother. Seriously. And Neville, true on Rashford, he changed after the contract. Yeah, he did. Dave, how you doing? I hope you're doing well, by the way. Dave says, in-game, Mbeumo, Ahmad, and can interchange to the 10 position and right wing back, but playing Mbeumo at right wing back from the get-go is a no. Yeah, I mean, I don't think many. I think if you ask Ahmad, if you sat down with him, of course he's playing there because he wants to play every game. He'd rather play every game than be sat on the bench. And I think if you ask any attacking player, would you like to play in a defensive role? I don't think any attacking player would like that. You've got an ego to look after as well. You can't. I mean, I remember when I'd play strike, and I didn't mind dropping back in midfield. But if someone said to me, right, you're playing CDM or in the right back position or right wing back or whatever, I I would not bother. I'd just tell him, stick it where the sun doesn't shine. And, I'd be like, no, I want to play up front or nothing. But, of course, this is different. This is professional football. This is, you're getting paid a lot of money every week. And, you've got international duty. You want to be picked and you want to be showing off your talent. And if he's playing in that right wing back position and he's thinking, right, I'm not going to get anywhere near the forward positions, so I think that's what it is. Just a good point. Just feel Mbeumo is more physical, and Ahmad could do a better job as the 10. But you're right. Wouldn't want to move Mbeumo if he only could play there. Yeah, I think so. I think that makes sense. Dave, why I thought it wouldn't be worst idea trying to, because interchange anywhere, but Mbeumo doesn't get pushed off the ball like Ahmad does. Yeah, look, Ahmad defensively is weak. He's weak. We need a better wing back. I think in an ideal world, Amorim would prefer Ahmad and Mbeumo playing and fighting out for the same position, that right wing back position. And so Ahmad would be either the player that comes on when Mbeumo's tired, which is very rarely because that guy's a machine. I started as a striker and ended up as a CDM. My passing was the reason. Yeah, Rick, I did the same. I started off as a striker. Then I got a ligament injury on my knee, and then I just became shit. Not, I couldn't do the running. I just, it was hard work. It's hard work. It's not easy playing forward. I mean, many players wouldn't mind if you're lazy. You don't mind playing further back on the pitch because there's less work to do. You can have a bit of a rest. You can have a sneaky rest here and there. Dave said the right wing back role is tricky for both, since it really requires one of the to be very involved in attacking and tracking back to help out defensively in phases of game. And Mbeumo could be caught out. Well, look, you've heard me when we were doing the watch along, guys. Yeah, I've told you many times in this formation, the reason why we're struggling under this formation system from Ruben Amorim is because we haven't got the best wing backs that we need. In this formation, you need the very best wing backs that you can go and get, and they are pivotal to the way United play going forward, and they're pivotal when it comes to defensive work rate as well. So they've got to be your best two players on the pitch. Unfortunately, we haven't got that. We've got Dalot and Dogu, who, let's be honest, don't tick all the boxes. And then we've got Ahmad. You could argue Mazraoui, but Mazraoui isn't comfortable playing that role either. So we haven't really got someone who can play that right wing back position. Ahmad is the only one who kind of is saying, well, look, I'll do the job for you guys. Okay, boss, you play me there, I'll play there because you're asking me and I've got no other option. He's not going to say, look, play me somewhere else, because he's not going to get a chance to play. So he'd rather play than not to play. So, yeah. Guys, everyone watching, make sure you hit the like and subscribe if you're not already subscribed to the Man United stream channel. It'd mean a lot to us, it'll get the stream out as well. So thank you very much to everyone who's already hit the like as well. Let's go quickly to the chat again. Neville says, you make a great point though. They've developed a seriously good relationship down the right, and interchanging is quite seamless. They have each other's back. It's great to see. Yeah, I love that about this. I've been saying it from day one. As soon as I saw the combination of these two just interchanging, knowing exactly where one's going, who's going to move where, I love that. And they've got a click between them. They've got a click, and it's working. And we need to make use of that. I do you know what we saw? What happened against what was that game, man? Where he changed it? Was it Everton? I think it was Everton, wasn't it? Where Ahmad was playing left wing. And half time he moved him back to right wing because that experiment didn't work. I think the combination of both Mbeumo and Ahmad both doing attacking football is what causes problems for everybody else. And the opposition defence really don't know how to handle that. And they're a bit like, what the flip? Like, who do you flip and mark? Do we mark Mbeumo? Do we mark Ahmad? What is going on? That's the problem. So let's go to Dave. In terms of priority, I think left wing back is more needed than right wing back. Yeah, absolutely. Left wing back is a massive issue for us. Right wing, I'd still take Ahmad over Dalot or anyone else who's playing that right wing back position. I think Ahmad is just really good going forward. We can go with Ahmad there, but in the left side, we really need someone that links well. 100%. Good comment there, Dave. I agree with you. We left wing back is a huge issue. It's a huge issue. We can see it. We can all see it. We don't actually get many goals from that left side, and that's not good. We should have just the same danger and problems we're causing with the right hand side. We should be doing that with the left. And can you imagine that? Can you imagine if we are attacking down both flanks? It would be crazy. Imagine how much goals we would score. And then finally, Neville says Ofcon is going to be a killer. Zertsky continuing to build his confidence is crucial. He can step in for Mbumo during Ofcom, and but I don't know whether we're gonna do right wing back. What we're going to do for right wing back, because losing Mazraoui too. It's a huge problem for us, guys. I don't know what I've been dreading even talking about it, because I don't want to think about it. I really don't want to think about it until I have to think about it. But anyway, guys, I'm going to leave the show there. I want to say a huge thank you to everybody. Huge thank you to Ricky joining us. Rick joining us all the way from Canada. Hope you get some sleep. Try some exercise. That's all I can say. Try some exercise, and it might work. You know. That always tires me out, and everybody else, of course, Neville and Dave and everybody else, thank you for joining us. Thank you for the comments, and everyone else who hasn't commented, make sure you hit the like, make sure you subscribe. We're a fast growing Man United community, and I'm loving it, and so are you. I'm going to be doing a watch along tomorrow, by the way, so make sure you join me for that big game against West Ham. Come on, United, we can do it, we can win, and keep up this real good football.